All right, what's going on, everyone? I just went and saw How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version, and I gotta say, as a fan of the animated trilogy, and I think it's one of the better trilogies that have come out and recently. And obviously, the first one came out in 2010. I was born in 2000, so I grew up with these movies. So of course, and I really enjoyed them as well. So I love these movies, and I have like a special place for them. So I was excited. Well, I wasn't really excited when I saw they were remaking it because I saw the trailer and I was like, it looks like a shot for shot remake, and that's basically what it is. And I was kind of disappointed, to be honest. The cast is fine, like half fine. You have Mason Thames as Hiccup. Recently, he was in The Black Phone, and he's gonna be in The Black Phone 2. That's what I know him from. And he plays Hiccup, which was originally played by Jay Baruchel in the animation. And then you have Nico Parker, who I don't really know anything else she's done. She plays Astrid, who originally was America Ferrera. Julian Dennison, who was Russell in Deadpool 2. He's Fishlegs, who was originally voiced by McLovin himself. And then Nick Frost as Gobber was a good choice. At first, it took me a few minutes to be like, oh, that's Nick Frost. It took me a few minutes, but I think that was a good casting choice. You have Harry Trevaldwin, I think I said that right, as Tough Nut, and he was originally played by T.J. Miller. And you got Bronwyn James as Rough Nut, and Rough Nut was originally voiced by Kristen Wiig. So you got some new faces, some new people you don't really know, which I guess is a good idea to try and cast, because the original has an A-list cast with all these great names and stuff like that. So it would take away having a bunch of like big names like that, like show up in the movie. But I just think like the twins, Tough Nut and Rough Nut, they're supposed to be twins, like they were in the animation, but in this movie they weren't. I mean, they were, but not like they weren't identical twins. They were, like boy and girl twins that don't really look. They look similar, but they're not like identical, which I thought was an interesting choice. I don't know why they didn't just cast a pair of twins to play that role. And then the guy who was playing Snotlout, Gabriel Howell, I just wasn't buying it either. And again, it was originally Jonah Hill voiced Snotlout in the animation, so it's just hard to beat like just the original cast. And again, I think the twins in Snotlout, they were just playing like, it was just like they were cosplaying the characters. They weren't really becoming the characters. They were just playing the character, if that makes sense. Like the twins, the twins in the animated one, they're pretty douchey. They're annoying. They've got some weird tension between them. In this one, they play that up, but it just feels forced. Like it's just not natural. Like their relationship just doesn't feel natural. Also, I guess with them just not being twins. Like again, and if you would have cast twins, real twins, that connection would have already been there, and that probably would have been a lot better. So I'm just curious as to why they cast those two people. Nothing against them as actors. It just didn't work in terms of the characters they had to play. I thought Mason Thames was good as Hiccup and Nico Parker as Astrid. I thought they were both good. They were at least becoming their characters. I do think for Mason Thames though, like since it is a shot for shot remake and like word for word, basically, they have him copy a lot of Jay Baruchel's mannerisms, which I don't think work just because they're two very different actors. So I think just having him try to hit those timings that Jay Baruchel did in the animation just didn't work, just didn't hit. It just felt flat. It just kind of felt like he didn't really have his own character for most of the show, like his own personality. It was kind of, they were making him play Jay Baruchel instead of just letting him do his own take on Hiccup. Like you can still have it be kind of similar, like still have him be kind of that awkward, nerdy, kind of outcastish kind of character. You can still have him, let him do his own take, let him have his own quips and quirks and whatnot. And then Gerard Butler is back as Stoic. He voiced Stoic in the animation and he's playing him in live action. That was like honestly one of the main reasons I wanted to watch this movie. At first, I was like, I don't know if I want to go see it. I was looking at the theaters; it was looking pretty sold out. I knew there was gonna be tons of kids, and I was like, I don't know. The originals are just so good. I went and saw it, and again, yeah, just Gerard Butler is just great. He's probably the one character who like truly becomes. I guess because he voiced it in the animation, so he had years of experience already with the character, so he was able just to jump right back in and just keep playing that role. And I think the relationship between Hiccup and Stoic is good. The relationship with him and Astrid is also pretty good, and Gobber is like the like a crazy uncle type figure, so he's got a good relationship as well. But I think other than that, the rest of the town, you don't really feel connected to any of the characters. A lot of the side characters kind of feel like extras that got lines when they probably shouldn't have. The way they were like just delivering the lines was just like, is this your first time like being on screen? Have you never had like a dialect coach or like anything, or an acting coach or anything like that? Like your lines are coming out as if like I was doing it. Or not even just like the facial expressions where it's like just so over the, like literally it was just so like overly expressive, and it was just very cartoony, which is funny because like this movie can get dark, like for a kids movie, quote unquote. It can get pretty dark with the themes and with some of the scarier dragons and whatnot, some of the later scenes in the movie. And the movie's directed by the same guy who, well, one of the directors of the original, Dean DeBlois. I think I'm saying that right, I don't know. And I think the directing is fine. The shots, some of the scenes were kind of blurry, like some of the flight scenes, which I guess that's meant to like simulate like the speed and stuff. But some of it was kind of like that kind of like shaky cam you do for action, but it was like for the flight scenes. I'm guessing that was on purpose, just because for make the flight seem chaotic and seem like fast paced and whatnot. But I just think overall the movie was fine. I'm curious what people think if you haven't seen the original, because again, just the original trilogy, all three of them they're just so good. So just going into this one, I just wasn't sure. And yeah, my suspicions were kind of confirmed. It was like an exact copy. Some of the stuff, honestly, a lot of the stuff didn't translate from the animation to the live action. Mainly a lot of like some of the lines and again some of the mannerisms of Hiccup, and some lines are just like boop, boop. When in the animation I feel like there was more time for them to breathe and more time for some jokes and whatnot to sit there. But this one, it was just kind of like lines were just kind of just, well, it was in the original, so it has to be in this one, so just someone say it fast. All right, here we go, the next one. So it just kind of felt like that. It was kind of like, all right, we finished the scene, and someone was like, wait a minute, in the original this person says this though. All right, roll the camera. All right, you say it real fast. All right, boom. All right, let's go. It just kind of felt like they really wanted to match the original, so they just kind of were just throwing in there that they missed. Feels like I'm dogging on this movie a lot. It's just like kind of disappointing. I'm curious to see how the box office goes, because they'll definitely do a second one. So I'm curious to see where they go with the next story, considering where the emotional arc in that movie and where they go with that, and see if they can pull that off. Again, I just think just half the main crew of kids, half of them are good. The other half, I'm just like, you're just like cosplaying. Like you're not even actually being the character, you're just like a cosplayer. So that part was kind of annoying. Just the forcedness of being like, look, they're this character, guys. We have to force it on you because you don't believe it yourself, but we have to force it on you to be like, oh, look, these people, look, they said this line. Aren't they really angry and mad and, quirky and whatnot? So yeah, I just don't think the story they told in the animation really reflects over to live action. I mean, obviously, like the action and the dragons and stuff looks cool. I think mainly for me, it was just like it was just the character choices and the castings, and just taking me out of the movie for a lot of it. And it is longer too. The first one, the original is like an hour and a half, and this one's like an hour 50. So they added about 20 minutes of just, I don't even know what they added. But there was a point where I was kind of like, it's like, I seen the original, so I was like, all right, we still have these beats to hit before the movie ends. And I was like, God, this movie's really dragging on, which is disappointing, because again, I really like the original. I did enjoy a lot of things about this movie. The action was cool. The third act is cool. It hits those emotional beats. The opening works. You're kind of, for me, I wasn't really in it until Toothless shows up for the first time. That's when I was really like, okay, so we're getting into it. This is the connection, the story we want. But yeah, I think, again, I'm curious, first time viewers, what they think. I'm sure kids will enjoy it. Again, like in the original, it does get kind of dark, and since it's not animated, I'm sure it'll be even a little bit more scary. And yeah, I'd say it's not the worst remake that's ever been made. It's still enjoyable. They still, again, they capture the main essence of the original, which is Hiccup and Toothless and their connection and their dynamic, and what their relationship leads to and how it changes the world. And yeah, so if I had to give this movie a quick rating, I'd give it probably like a 2.9 out of 5. That sucks, because again, I was kind of bored. I did enjoy some things, but again, I was just like, I'll just watch the original. I'll just watch the animated one when I want to see that story. If you got kids and you've already seen Lilo and Stitch, I'd say, take them to see this one. If they like dragons, they'll enjoy it. Or you could save the money and just just watch the original. There's 3 of them, so you could just watch all 3 of them if they enjoy them. So yeah, let me know down below. Have you seen the How to Train Your Dragon remake 2025? Let me know what your thoughts on it were. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know why. Hit the like button, subscribe. Peace.